Far below the surface of the ocean, beyond the reach of sunlight, there is a world that never sees the day. A place where darkness is not temporary. It is permanent. It does not come with night and leave with morning. It simply exists. Endless, silent, ancient. The deeper you go, the more the surface begins to feel like another planet. The noise of cities disappears. The sound of wind disappears. Even memory begins to feel distant. Only water remains. Cold, heavy, still. And inside that stillness, life continues. Not the life we know above. Not bright coral reefs or playful dolphins beneath the sun. Something older. Something quieter. Something built for darkness. These are the creatures of the deep sea. Animals that have never seen sunlight. Hunters that move through black water like shadows with teeth. Living forms so strange they seem imagined. Transparent bodies. Glowing skin. Eyes too large. Or no eyes at all. Some create their own light. Some survive by waiting. Some spend their entire lives in silence, drifting where no human voice has ever reached. They are not monsters. They are survivors, perfectly shaped by pressure, darkness, and time. And tonight, we descend slowly into their world. Not with fear, not with urgency, but with calm, with quiet curiosity, as though we are being invited into a place that has always existed, patiently waiting below. The journey begins at the surface. The moon reflects softly across the open sea. The waves move slowly. Silver light stretches across black water like a road leading nowhere. Above, the stars remain still. Below, the ocean waits. You step into that silence. The first descent is gentle. The upper water is still touched by blue. Light moves in soft ribbons around you. Fish pass quietly. The world feels familiar here, but only for a moment. Because the deeper you go, the blue begins to fade. The warmth begins to disappear. The light weakens. The ocean changes its voice. There is less movement now, less sound, less distraction. Every breath feels slower. Every thought becomes softer. You continue downward. 100 meters, 200, 300. The last sunlight disappears above like a forgotten dream. Now there is only darkness. Not empty darkness, living darkness. A darkness filled with quiet movement. This is the twilight zone of the ocean, where shapes appear and vanish like thoughts between sleep and waking. A silver body flashes past. Something long and thin disappears below. The water feels heavier here. Pressure surrounds everything. But strangely, there is peace. Nothing rushes. Nothing demands. The world above no longer matters. Far below, a small light appears. Soft, blue, floating. At first, it looks like a star. But stars do not move like this. It drifts closer. A jellyfish, transparent as glass. Its body glows from within, pulsing like a heartbeat. No sound, no effort, just quiet light moving through endless black. Bioluminescence, life creating its own stars in a place where the sun cannot reach. Many creatures here glow, some to attract prey, some to hide, some to communicate in a language made entirely of light. Tiny flashes in the dark, signals written in blue fire. You continue deeper. Now the pressure is immense, enough to crush steel. enough to destroy almost anything from the surface. But life here does not resist it. It belongs to it. A creature appears below. Slow, massive, its body soft and pale, its mouth impossibly large. The gulper eel. It opens its jaws wider than seems possible, waiting in silence for something small enough to become its next meal. There is no aggression, no violence, only patience. Deep-sea survival is not built on speed. It is built on waiting. Everything here understands that energy must be protected. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is rushed. Farther below, something watches. 2 faint lights. Then 4. Then gone. The dragonfish. Its teeth are transparent, nearly invisible in the dark. Its body is blacker than the water around it. Even light struggles to reflect from its skin. It does not chase. It simply exists. A perfect predator built for a world without witnesses. And yet, even here, there is beauty. Not beauty in the way sunlight gives us beauty. Not bright colors or open skies. A different kind. The beauty of perfect adaptation. The beauty of silence. The beauty of things becoming exactly what they need to be. The deeper ocean teaches that survival is often quiet. Not loud, not dramatic, just patient, still, certain. You descend again. Now the seafloor begins to appear. A distant landscape of soft sediment and strange stone. No trees, no birds, only silence stretching across endless plains of black earth. And there, walking slowly across the ocean floor, is something almost unreal. A tripod fish, balanced on long, thin fins like stilts. Waiting, motionless. Its entire life is built around stillness. It stands in the dark current and lets food come to it. No chase, no struggle, only waiting. There is wisdom in that. Sometimes survival belongs not to the strongest, but to the stillest. Sometimes peace is not found by moving faster, but by finally becoming still enough to let life come to you. The ocean seems to understand this. Every creature here carries that lesson. The vampire squid drifts past like a shadow wrapped in silk. Its name sounds like fear, but it is gentle. It does not hunt in violence. It feeds on falling particles, tiny pieces of life drifting down from the world above. Marine snow, dead plankton, fragments of forgotten things. Even here, nothing is wasted. Everything returns to something else. Everything continues. The deep sea is not empty. It is full of quiet recycling. A world built on patience and return. And somewhere below all of this, deeper still, waits the creature most people imagine first when they think of darkness. The anglerfish. It does not need introduction. Its silhouette alone feels ancient. A heavy body, sharp teeth like broken glass, and above its mouth, a single glowing lure. A light in the darkness. Beautiful, terrible, perfect. It does not chase. It waits. Small fish, drawn by curiosity, come closer. Closer, closer, and then they disappear. In the deep sea, light can be kindness, or it can be a trap. The lesson is quiet but clear. Not every light is safety. Not every glow leads upward. Sometimes the most dangerous things arrive looking beautiful. But even the anglerfish is not evil. It is simply alive. It does what the darkness taught it to do. And perhaps that is true for all of us. We become shaped by the worlds we survive. The deep-sea creatures are not strange because they are wrong. They are strange because their world is honest. It asks only one question: can you endure? And those who can become extraordinary. You continue downward, deeper than submarines usually travel, deeper than sunlight has ever dreamed. Now the ocean feels less like water and more like space. A silent universe turned upside down. Creatures drift like living constellations. Stars with teeth, galaxies with fins. And in that endless black, fear begins to disappear. Because darkness, when you stay long enough, stops feeling like danger. It becomes peace. It becomes rest. It becomes a place where nothing is expected from you. No performance, no noise, no urgency, only existence, only breath, only stillness. The deep sea does not ask you to be anything. It only asks you to remain. And maybe that is why it feels so calming. Because beneath all the strange creatures and endless dark, there is something deeply familiar. The desire to rest. The desire to disappear from noise. The desire to be held by something larger than yourself. The ocean understands that. It always has. And the creatures who live here understand it too. They do not fight the darkness. They become part of it. They glow within it. They sleep inside it. They trust it. And as you drift deeper beside them, the world above becomes smaller and smaller, until it is gone. And all that remains is the quiet, the endless quiet, the peaceful dark, and the creatures that call it home. Deeper still, the ocean opens into a silence so complete it no longer feels like the absence of sound. It feels like a presence, a quiet so large it surrounds every thought until even the mind begins to slow. There is no sunrise here, no horizon, no changing sky, only black water stretching in every direction, soft and endless, like a night that never ends. And within that night, life continues with perfect patience. A giant squid moves somewhere in the distance. You do not see it all at once. First, a pale arm drifting like a ribbon. Then another. Then the shape of something vast, moving with impossible grace through the dark. For centuries, sailors believed creatures like this were myths. Sea monsters, stories told to explain fear. But the truth is quieter, more beautiful. The giant squid is real, and like most deep creatures, it asks for nothing. It does not perform. It does not seek attention. It lives where almost no eyes can follow. Its body moves like thought itself, soft and silent. Its enormous eyes are built to capture the smallest possible light. In a world without sun, even the faintest glow matters. There is something peaceful about that. Learning to value small light. Learning to survive on what little brightness reaches you. Many lives are lived that way. Not with abundance, but with enough. Enough light. Enough hope. Enough quiet to continue. The squid disappears as gently as it arrived. No dramatic exit. Only the dark reclaiming its shape. Below, the ocean floor changes. Hydrothermal vents rise from the earth like underwater chimneys, breathing heat into the freezing world around them. Black smoke pours upward. Minerals cloud the water. And somehow, around these volcanic wounds in the seafloor, life gathers. White crabs, blind shrimp, tube worms taller than a human body. Creatures living beside fire in the coldest place on Earth. No sunlight, no plants, no familiar rules. only survival built around heat rising from the planet itself. It feels impossible. But the deep sea is full of impossible things. Places where life should not exist, and yet it does. Places where darkness should mean emptiness, but instead becomes abundance. There is comfort in that. Proof that life can grow even in places that seem forgotten. Proof that beauty does not require sunlight. The vent fields glow faintly in the drifting particles. Steam and shadow, fire and ice, creation and silence existing side by side. The ocean does not separate opposites. It lets them belong together. Above and below, warm and cold, fear and peace, darkness and life. Sometimes the deepest calm comes not from choosing one thing, but from allowing both to exist. You move onward. A Dumbo octopus drifts nearby. Its fins move slowly like wings. It looks almost gentle enough to be imagined by a child, soft and unreal. It does not hunt with violence. It floats. It watches. It moves as though the water itself is dreaming. In the deep sea, even strange things can feel comforting. Especially strange things. Because they remind us that the world is bigger than what we understand. There is relief in that. Not needing to know everything. Not needing to explain every mystery. Just allowing wonder to remain wonder. The Dumbo octopus disappears into the dark. Nothing stays long here. Everything arrives softly. Everything leaves softly. Even fear behaves differently in the deep sea. It loses its sharp edges, becomes slower, more thoughtful. The darkness changes it. You pass a field of glass sponges rising from the seabed like frozen towers. Delicate structures built over centuries. Some of them older than entire cities above the surface. They stand quietly, untouched by weather, untouched by noise. Time moves differently here. Or perhaps time is simply more honest. Without deadlines, without clocks, only slow becoming, only patience. It makes you wonder how much of life above is truly necessary. How much noise we mistake for importance. How much rushing we call progress. Down here, nothing rushes. And still, everything survives. Maybe peace is not something we find. Maybe it is something we remember. Something ancient already inside us, like the memory of deep water. A place before language, before pressure, before the endless need to keep moving. The deep sea feels like that. A return, not to darkness as fear, but darkness as rest. A return to stillness. A return to breath. Far ahead, a shape rests on the ocean floor. At first it looks like stone. Then it moves. A sleeper shark. Massive. Ancient. Its body heavy with time. It swims so slowly, it barely seems to move at all. Some of these sharks live for centuries. Imagine that. 300 years. 400 years. A life so long that entire nations rise and disappear while it continues its silent journey through black water. There is no hurry in a creature like that. No panic. No desperate need to prove itself. Only continuation. Only presence. The sleeper shark passes like a living memory. Its eyes calm. Its movement certain. It reminds you that longevity often belongs to what moves slowly, to what wastes nothing, to what understands rhythm instead of speed. The ocean teaches through silence, not by speaking, by showing. A jellyfish pulses above like a floating lantern. A crab walks patiently across volcanic stone. An eel waits without complaint. Every creature here seems to know something the surface forgets. That survival is often quiet. That rest is not weakness. That darkness is not always the enemy. You continue downward. The pressure deepens, but strangely, so does the calm. You are no longer visiting. You are settling. The deep sea no longer feels foreign. It feels like a room you have entered many times in dreams. Familiar, slow, safe. Even the anglerfish, with its terrible beauty, feels less frightening now. Because fear belongs mostly to distance. What we do not understand becomes monster. What we stay with becomes truth. And the truth of the deep sea is not horror. It is balance. Nothing more. Nothing less. Predator and prey. Light and darkness. Life and decay. Everything returning to everything else. Nothing wasted. Nothing permanent. Even the bones of whales become ecosystems here. When a whale falls to the ocean floor, life gathers. Crabs, worms, fish. Entire communities built from one ending, becoming many beginnings. There is something sacred in that. A reminder that endings are rarely endings. They are transformations. The deep sea understands transformation better than anywhere else. It is a world where strange shapes survive, where broken things fade beauty, where silence becomes home. And perhaps that is why it is so peaceful. Because it does not pretend permanence. It accepts change completely. It lets everything become what it must. Above, people fight the passing of time. Below, time is simply another current. No resistance, only movement, only surrender, only trust. The darkness continues, but now it feels warm in its own way. Not temperature, presence, like being wrapped in something ancient and patient. Something that does not judge, something that does not ask, only holds, only remains. You drift beside creatures that have never known sunlight, and somehow they feel more honest than anything above. Because they do not perform brightness. They simply live. And there is peace in that. Peace in not pretending. Peace in becoming exactly what your world requires. Peace in quiet survival. The ocean grows still again. No vents, no movement, only the long, open dark. And somewhere in that endless black, tiny lights appear. Hundreds of them. Small blue flashes drifting together like stars breaking loose from the sky. Bioluminescent plankton. Living constellations. The sea creating its own universe. You move through them slowly. No words, no need, only wonder, only breath, only the feeling that perhaps the deepest parts of the world are not empty at all. Perhaps they are full of the things we only notice when everything else disappears. Stillness, patience, silence, light small enough to matter. And in that realization, sleep begins to feel closer. Not sleep as escape. Sleep as return. Return to quiet. Return to dark water. Return to the place where nothing needs to be solved tonight. Only rested. Only released. Only allowed to drift. Far below the last memory of daylight, the ocean becomes something softer than darkness. It becomes a stillness. Not the kind of stillness that feels empty, but the kind that feels full. Full of waiting. Full of quiet life, moving slowly in places untouched by time. The deeper you go, the less the world above can reach you. No traffic, no headlines, no clocks asking anything from you. Only water, only breath, only the slow pulse of a hidden world that has been alive for millions of years. A ribbon of light appears in the distance. Thin, blue, almost too faint to trust. It moves like a whisper. This is the siphonophore. Not one creature, but many living as one. A colony so perfectly connected it appears to be a single body. Transparent, fragile, endless. Some grow longer than a blue whale. Long chains of life drifting through darkness like living rivers. There is something beautiful in that. The idea that survival does not always belong to the strongest individual. Sometimes it belongs to connection, to small lives learning how to move together. Above the surface, people forget that. They call independence strength. But the deep sea remembers another truth. Even in the darkest places, life survives by holding on to something else. The siphonophore disappears into black water, its blue light fading like a dream you were not ready to leave. You continue downward. The cold deepens. The silence grows heavier. And then, resting like forgotten statues on the ocean floor, you find the grenadiers. Long-bodied fish with wide heads and tails like threads. They move slowly, conserving every piece of energy. Nothing wasted, nothing hurried. Every motion matters here. Life at this depth is expensive. A single mistake can cost too much. So creatures learn stillness. They learn patience. They learn the art of enough. There is wisdom in enough. Not more, not endless hunger. Just enough. Enough food. Enough light. Enough peace to keep going. The deep ocean has no interest in excess. It teaches simplicity. Take only what you need. Rest when you can. Trust silence. A pale crab crosses the seafloor beside a sleeping starfish. Even movement here looks like meditation. Everything is slow. Everything deliberate. Nothing is accidental. Perhaps that is why the deep sea feels so calming. Because nothing here pretends urgency. Nothing asks you to hurry. Nothing rewards panic. Only patience survives. Only calm lasts. Far away, something enormous passes overhead. At first, only a shadow. Then the shape becomes clearer. A whale. Even here, far below where light belongs, the great travelers of the ocean still pass. Its song cannot be heard from this distance, but somehow you feel it. A low vibration in the water. A reminder that sound travels farther than sight. That presence is not always visible. Sometimes the most important things are felt before they are understood. The whale moves on. Slow, graceful, ancient, like a thought too large for language. And the ocean closes behind it without disturbance. Nothing holds onto anything for long here. Everything passes. Everything returns. There is peace in that too. You do not have to keep everything. Not every memory. Not every fear. Not every unfinished thought. Some things are meant to drift away. The deep sea never tries to hold what is already leaving. It lets go. Quietly. Naturally. Without resistance. Ahead, the ocean floor breaks open again. A trench, so deep it feels like the planet itself is breathing downward. The Mariana Trench is far from here, but the feeling is the same. Depth beyond imagination. Places so far beneath the surface that human language struggles to describe them. Pressure so immense it changes everything. And yet even there, life exists. Tiny amphipods, transparent shrimp, creatures soft enough to survive where hardness would break. There is another lesson there. Sometimes survival belongs not to what is strongest, but to what is flexible. What bends, what adapts, what does not shatter under pressure. Softness is not weakness. The ocean proves that every day. A sea cucumber lies half buried in dark sediment. Simple, unremarkable, and yet perfectly designed for its world. It does not need beauty. It does not need speed. It only needs belonging. Perhaps that is enough for all of us. Not perfection, not applause, just belonging. A place where we fit naturally. A rhythm that does not fight our shape. The deep creatures have that. They are not trying to become something else. They are fully themselves. And because of that, they survive. The water grows colder still. The silence deeper. Sleep begins to feel close now. Not because of exhaustion. Because of permission. Permission to stop. Permission to drift. Permission to exist without performance. Above the ocean, life can feel like endless proving. But below, no one is watching. No one is measuring. The anglerfish does not wonder if it is enough. The jellyfish does not compare its light. The sleeper shark does not rush its centuries. Everything simply is. And somehow, that is more than enough. A ghostly white octopus moves across the ocean floor. Its body almost glowing against the dark earth. It slips over stone without sound, disappearing into a crack between ancient rocks. Even disappearance looks graceful here. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud, just quiet transitions. One moment present, the next gone. Like thoughts before sleep. You realize the ocean has been preparing you for rest this entire time. Not by forcing it, by reminding you how natural stillness is, how normal silence can be, how peace does not need to be earned. It only needs space. The creatures of the dark sea understand space. They leave room for quiet, room for slowness, room for the world to breathe. Perhaps that is why they feel so ancient. Not because of age alone, because they never forgot what the surface keeps forgetting. That life does not need constant noise to prove it is alive. Sometimes the deepest life is the quietest. Tiny glowing shrimp drift past like sparks in slow motion. A spider crab stands motionless beside volcanic stone. Far above, storms move across the surface of the world. People rush through airports. Phones light up in dark bedrooms. Cities stay awake for reasons no one remembers. But none of that reaches here. The deep sea remains untouched. Protected by distance. Protected by depth. Protected by darkness. And perhaps sleep works the same way. Not escape. Depth. Going far enough inward that the noise cannot follow. Far enough that only breath remains. Only stillness. Only the quiet creature inside you that has always known how to rest. The ocean knows that creature. It recognizes it. It welcomes it. There is no fear here now. Only fascination. Only calm. The strange faces of deep life no longer feel alien. They feel like mirrors from another kind of existence. A reminder that beauty has many forms. That peace has many shapes. That darkness can hold gentleness too. The last thing you see before drifting farther is a field of glowing comb jellies. rows of light moving across transparent bodies like rainbows made for the dark. They pulse softly. No urgency, no performance, just light existing because it can. And that may be the simplest lesson of all. You do not need permission to be peaceful. You do not need permission to rest. You do not need permission to glow quietly in your own darkness. The ocean has never asked for explanations. It only asks for surrender. A slow breath, a softer mind, a willingness to drift. And so you continue. Deeper, calmer, closer to sleep, closer to the quiet place where all creatures of the dark sea return. The place beneath thought, the place beneath noise, the place where even darkness feels like home. Deeper now, the ocean no longer feels like a place. It feels like a state of mind. A slow, endless calm where nothing needs to be explained and nothing asks to be solved. The darkness here is soft, not frightening, not heavy, just complete. Like closing your eyes and realizing the world can continue without your attention for a while. Far above, sunlight still touches the waves. Ships still move across the surface. People still hurry from one thought to the next. But here, none of that exists. Only the deep. Only the creatures that were made for silence. Only the steady rhythm of a world that has never needed noise to survive. A lanternfish drifts nearby. Small, silver, its body lined with tiny lights like stars arranged by careful hands. Millions of them rise and fall through the ocean every night in the largest migration on Earth. Not seen by most people. Not celebrated. Just a quiet movement repeated for ages beyond counting. There is something comforting in invisible routines. The small things no one notices. The breaths you take. The windows you open. The moments of stillness between conversations. Much of life is built there. In the unnoticed, the lanternfish disappears into black water, carrying its small galaxy with it. And you keep descending. The pressure grows stronger, but your mind grows lighter. It is strange how that works. The deeper the ocean presses from outside, the more the inside begins to let go. Perhaps because deep places leave no room for unnecessary things. Only what matters remains. Breath, calm, presence. A long pale shape moves through the dark. The fangtooth fish. Its mouth seems too large for its body, filled with teeth too sharp for something so small. It looks fierce, but it lives quietly. Even danger in the deep sea is patient. There is no wasted violence. Only function. Only balance. The fangtooth does not frighten you. Not anymore. Because here, strange forms stop feeling wrong. They simply feel honest. The deep ocean does not hide reality behind beauty. It shows survival exactly as it is. Sharp, silent, necessary, and still peaceful. That is the mystery. How a place so full of teeth can feel so calm. Maybe because truth itself can be calming. No pretending, no decoration. Just life being exactly what it is. There is relief in honesty. A field of brittle stars covers the ocean floor like constellations scattered across dark sand. Their thin arms move slowly, almost invisibly, responding to currents too soft to notice. Even the ground seems alive here. Nothing is truly still, but everything moves with such patience it feels like stillness. That is the kind of peace most people search for. Not perfect silence, just movement so gentle it no longer feels like conflict. You continue forward. The water opens into a vast plain. No cliffs, no coral, only distance. An abyssal plain stretching farther than sight. Flat, dark, quiet. It should feel empty. Instead, it feels sacred, like standing inside a cathedral built from absence. No walls, no roof, only space. And in that space, something settles inside you. The understanding that not every emptiness needs to be filled. Some spaces exist to let you breathe. Some silences exist to let you hear yourself again. Above the surface, emptiness often feels like failure. But here, emptiness feels like permission. Permission to stop filling every moment. Permission to leave room for rest. Permission to simply exist without constant proof. A red shrimp flickers by, glowing faintly in invisible wavelengths. Many deep-sea creatures see red as black. To them, it is the perfect camouflage. Even color becomes something different in darkness. Even beauty changes depending on where you are. That feels true beyond the ocean. Sometimes what looks like invisibility is actually protection. Sometimes quiet is not absence. It is safety. Sometimes retreat is not weakness. It is wisdom. The deep sea has no interest in performance. It respects what survives. Nothing more, nothing less. A snailfish rests near the floor of the trench. Soft-bodied, almost delicate. And yet it lives where pressure would crush most living things. Softness again. Adaptation again. The reminder returns. You do not survive every pressure by becoming harder. Sometimes you survive by becoming gentler, by allowing, by bending, by letting life move through you instead of against you. There is strength in softness. The ocean repeats that lesson endlessly. A current shifts. Tiny particles rise from the seafloor like underwater snow. Marine snow. Fragments from the world above. Dead plankton, microscopic remains, pieces of old life drifting slowly down to feed the unseen world below. Even endings become nourishment here. Nothing disappears without becoming something else. Loss becomes food. Decay becomes continuation. The deep sea does not believe in waste, only transformation. That thought lingers. How many endings in life were secretly beginnings wearing darker clothes? How many closed doors became quieter paths? How many nights of uncertainty became the places where real rest began? The ocean seems to know. It has been turning endings into beginnings for longer than human memory. The creatures trust that. They do not panic when darkness comes. Darkness is where life begins for them. And perhaps sleep is the same. Not disappearance, not absence, a return, a reset, a soft place where the mind lays down its heavy tools and remembers how to be still. Far ahead, the faint shape of a wreck appears. Not ancient stone this time. Steel, a ship resting on the ocean floor, slowly becoming reef. Windows dark, hallways filled with fish. Metal softened by coral and time. Even human urgency ends this way. Rust, silence, stillness. The ocean takes everything eventually. Not cruelly, patiently. And in that patience, there is peace. Nothing needs to be held forever. Not fear, not regret, not the need to control every outcome. Even steel learns to surrender. Even ships learn how to sleep. You pass over the wreck quietly. No ghosts, only fish, only silence, only the calm truth that everything returns to stillness. The deep sea does not make that sad. It makes it gentle, because return is not failure. Return is belonging. Returning to water. Returning to quiet. Returning to the place beneath ambition. The place where you were never asked to be more than alive. A small octopus curls into itself beneath a rusted beam. Resting, hidden, safe. There is something deeply human in that image. The instinct to find shelter. The need for darkness that feels protective instead of lonely. The wish to disappear just enough to recover. The deep creatures understand recovery. They do not apologize for rest. They do not justify stillness. They simply take it. And maybe that is what sleep asks of you tonight. Not effort, not perfection, just surrender. The simple willingness to stop swimming for a while. To trust the water. To trust the dark. To trust that rest is not something you must earn. It is something ancient already waiting for you. Like the deep sea itself. Patient, quiet, ready. The ocean grows softer around you. The creatures become fewer. The silence becomes wider. Even thoughts begin to move more slowly now. The surface feels impossibly far away. And that is good. Let it stay far away. Let the noise remain there. Let the endless unfinished things wait until morning. Tonight belongs to the dark sea. Tonight belongs to creatures with glowing skin and patient eyes. Tonight belongs to slow breathing, to heavy water, to stillness without guilt, to sleep that arrives like a current, gentle and certain. And somewhere in the black water ahead, tiny blue lights begin to rise again. Soft, floating, like the ocean itself is breathing. And you follow them not upward but inward, toward quiet, toward rest, toward the peaceful dark where nothing more is required of you. The blue lights rise slowly through the darkness, each one small enough to seem fragile, yet together they turn the black water into a moving sky. They drift upward like stars, remembering where they came from. You follow them without effort. There is nowhere to arrive. Only the quiet act of continuing. Only the comfort of not needing direction. The deeper ocean understands that. Not every journey needs a destination. Some journeys exist only to soften the mind, to slow the heart, to remind the body that stillness is not emptiness. It is restoration. A moon jelly passes above, almost invisible except for the pale light moving through its body. Its shape is simple, soft, transparent, no armor, no urgency, and still it survives. There is a strange kind of courage in softness. The world above often teaches hardness. Push harder, move faster, protect yourself. But the deep sea teaches something quieter. Flow, adapt. Let the current carry what does not need your strength. The jellyfish does not fight the ocean. It becomes part of its rhythm. And perhaps peace begins there. Not in control, in trust. A long shadow moves beneath you. At first, it seems like the ocean floor itself shifting. Then it turns, a frilled shark, ancient-looking, almost unchanged for millions of years. Its body moves like memory, slow, patient, its mouth lined with rows of thin, sharp teeth, not for violence, but for survival. A living fossil, a creature from another age, still moving through the same darkness. It reminds you how old the ocean really is. Older than cities, older than language, older than the first human fear of the dark. This place was here before all of it, and it will remain after. There is comfort in that scale. Your worries feel smaller here, not because they are unimportant, but because they do not need to be carried all at once. The ocean has room for them. It has room for everything. The frilled shark disappears, folding back into shadow like a thought you almost remembered. Silence returns, not empty, never empty, alive with quiet. You reach a forest of black coral, not bright like the reefs near warm islands. These corals grow slowly in darkness over centuries, twisting shapes like underwater trees, holding small hidden lives between their branches. Tiny shrimp, sleeping fish, creatures too small for names most people know. Entire worlds living quietly where no sunlight falls. It is easy to forget how much life exists without being seen, how much beauty survives without applause. The deep ocean never asks to be admired. It simply continues. There is freedom in that. To exist without performance. To be enough without being noticed. To rest without explaining why. You move carefully through the coral forest. Nothing here is rushed. Even your thoughts seem to slow to match the water. One by one, they loosen. Plans, conversations, regrets, all the unfinished things the mind carries like pockets full of stones. The ocean does not take them from you. It simply makes them feel less necessary. In deep water, the mind remembers what matters. Breath, stillness, rest. Everything else can wait. A small squid flashes silver and disappears. A crab settles deeper into the sand. Far away, something sings. Low, long, a whale again. Its voice travels through miles of dark water like a prayer spoken without words. You feel it more than hear it. A vibration through the chest. A reminder that connection exists even in the deepest solitude. Even here, nothing is truly alone. The ocean connects everything. Currents carry warmth across continents. Whales speak across impossible distance. Tiny drifting creatures feed giants. Life moves in circles too large to fully see. And sleep is part of that circle too. Rest is not stopping. It is belonging. Belonging to rhythm. Belonging to return. Belonging to the quiet law that says even the strongest hearts must pause. The deep creatures know that law. They do not resist it. They sleep when darkness asks. They wait when the current slows. They trust enough. Enough food. Enough light. Enough tomorrow. Humans struggle with enough. Always reaching. Always adding. But here in the dark sea, enough feels sacred. Enough is peace. Enough is breathing without urgency. Enough is one soft light in endless black water. Enough is this moment. A transparent sea angel drifts by, tiny wings moving like slow prayer. It looks almost impossible. A creature too delicate for a world this heavy. And yet it belongs here. Beauty often does. In places people least expect. The deep ocean is filled with that kind of beauty. Not loud, not obvious. Quiet beauty. Beauty that waits for stillness before it reveals itself. Perhaps people are like that too. Perhaps the most important parts of us only appear when life finally becomes quiet enough to notice them. You descend farther. The cold deepens. but your body feels warm in the strange way rest can feel warm. Protected, held. The water no longer feels separate from you. It feels like a blanket made of silence. The pressure outside becomes calm inside. The darkness becomes softness. Sleep moves closer. Not suddenly, gently, like tide reaching shore. You pass the skeleton of a whale on the ocean floor. White bones resting in dark sediment, surrounded by life. Crabs move between the ribs. Tiny fish shelter in the hollow spaces. Even here, after death, the whale continues to give. Its body becomes a city. Its ending becomes a beginning for hundreds of smaller lives. There is no tragedy in it, only continuation. The ocean does not treat endings as failures, only transitions, only another shape of belonging. That thought settles deep. How much fear comes from resisting endings? How much peace might come from trusting them? The deep sea trusts endings. It trusts darkness. It trusts the long, slow return. Maybe that is why it feels so calm. Because nothing here fights what is natural. Everything moves with it. Even the current around the whale bones feels gentle. A soft passing, a quiet honoring. You remain there for a moment. Still, breathing, letting that peace reach places words cannot. There is no need to understand everything tonight. No need to solve every unfinished chapter. Some things heal in silence. Some answers arrive only after rest. The deep sea knows patience. It has been patient for millions of years. It can wait one more night for your answers. Tonight is for sleep. Tonight is for release. The anglerfish in the dark. The lanternfish carrying stars. The sleeper shark moving through centuries. The whale bones feeding new life. All of it says the same thing in different forms. Slow down. Let go. Trust the dark enough to rest inside it. The creatures of the dark sea are not afraid of night. Night is home. Perhaps sleep can become home too. Not something chased. Not something forced. Just a place you return to. Natural. Ancient. Safe. Ahead, the water opens once more into endless black. No shapes. No coral. Only depth. Only quiet. And in that open dark, there is no fear left. Only peace. The kind of peace that asks for nothing. The kind of peace that does not end when words stop. You drift there, breathing slower, thinking less, held by something larger than language. The ocean does not need you to stay awake. It invites you to rest, to let the deep carry what you no longer need to hold, to let the dark become gentle, to let sleep arrive without resistance. And somewhere far above, the moon still shines on the surface. But here below, in the endless calm where strange, beautiful creatures sleep, the only light you need is the soft blue glow drifting beside you. Small, steady, enough. And with that light, you go deeper. Not into fear, into peace, into the quiet place where the dark sea has always been waiting. The place where everything slows. The place where everything softens. The place where sleep begins. Sleep begins quietly here, not like a door closing, more like water settling after the last ripple disappears. The mind does not stop all at once. It loosens, thought by thought, breath by breath, until the noise that once felt so important becomes distant, like storms happening on another shore. The deep ocean holds that distance for you. It creates space between you and everything that can wait until morning. Above, the surface world continues. Lights in apartment windows, cars moving through midnight streets, phones glowing in restless hands, people searching for sleep and calling it late. But down here, nothing is late. Nothing is behind. Nothing is asking you to hurry. The deep sea keeps no schedule. Only rhythm. Only tides. Only the slow pulse of life continuing without permission. A cuttlefish drifts into view. Its skin shifts, color like thought changing shape. Silver to blue. Blue to shadow. Shadow to almost nothing. It can disappear simply by becoming what surrounds it. There is wisdom there. Not every moment asks you to stand out. Sometimes peace comes from blending with silence, from letting yourself be held by the quiet instead of fighting to be seen. The cuttlefish turns, its eyes calm and ancient, then slips back into the dark. Gone, as though it was only part of the water remembering itself. The ocean is full of creatures like that. Masters of stillness. Masters of disappearing. Not because they are afraid. Because they understand that rest often begins where attention ends. The world above rewards visibility. The world below rewards balance. And balance is always quieter. Far beneath you, the seafloor breathes with tiny life. Worms moving through soft sediment. Shells half buried like forgotten moons. Things so small they would be invisible in daylight, yet here they matter. The deep sea does not measure worth by size, only by belonging. Everything belongs to something. Every creature, every bone, every drifting particle. Even you, especially you. There is comfort in belonging to something larger than your own thoughts. The ocean offers that, not as an idea, as a feeling, a knowing beneath language. You are allowed to rest. You are part of the rhythm too. A school of hatchetfish passes, their thin silver bodies catching faint blue light. They move together without collision, without panic. No leader, no argument, just instinct, trust, flow. Sometimes life is easier when you stop trying to control every direction. Sometimes the body already knows where peace is. Sometimes sleep arrives the moment you stop chasing it. The hatchetfish vanish upward like sparks carried by invisible wind. Silence returns again, and it feels familiar now, like a room you have lived in for years. The dark is no longer strange. It is home. Ahead, a stone arch rises from the ocean floor. Natural rock shaped by time, though it looks almost like a doorway. Everything in the deep sea feels symbolic if you stay long enough. A doorway, a threshold, a quiet invitation to leave one version of yourself behind. You pass beneath it slowly. No ceremony, just movement. But something inside you softens as though crossing mattered. Perhaps sleep is always a crossing, leaving the world of effort, entering the world of trust, letting the body go where the mind cannot lead. A manta ray glides far above, wings moving through black water like slow breathing made visible. Grace without urgency, power without noise. It reminds you that strength does not need to announce itself. The strongest things are often the calmest. The ocean knows that. Storms are loud at the surface. Depth is silent. Real depth always is. There is another truth hidden there. People often mistake noise for importance, but the deepest things in life arrive quietly. Love, grief, healing, sleep. None of them shout. They enter softly. They change everything. You continue downward. The water grows colder, but the feeling inside grows warmer. Less guarded, less tense, as though the ocean has been carrying your thoughts one by one and setting them gently on the floor of the sea. Things you no longer need tonight. Conversations unfinished. Mistakes replayed too many times. Questions without answers. Let them sink. Let them join the quiet. The deep sea has room for unfinished things. It does not demand closure, only release. A lion's mane jellyfish appears like a drifting moon, its long tentacles trailing behind like soft threads of forgotten dreams. It moves without destination. Beautiful because it does not need one. Some peace can only be found that way, by allowing yourself to move without constant purpose, by remembering that existence itself can be enough. The jellyfish pulses once, twice, then disappears into darkness. And somehow that feels like permission. Permission to stop explaining yourself. Permission to stop measuring progress. Permission to rest before everything is perfect. Especially then. The ocean floor changes again. Soft ridges, dark valleys, a landscape built slowly by currents older than history. Nothing dramatic, nothing sudden, only slow shaping over impossible time. That is how most healing happens too. Not in one grand moment, in quiet repetition, small kindnesses, repeated rest, breathing again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. The deep creatures survive like that, not by miracles, by rhythm, by patience, by knowing when to move and when to wait. The sleeper shark taught that. The tripod fish taught that. Even the anglerfish, with all its strange, terrible beauty, taught that. Wait, trust, use your light carefully. Everything here is a lesson disguised as a creature. And perhaps every creature is also a mirror, showing some forgotten part of yourself. The part that knows how to be still. The part that does not fear darkness. The part that remembers sleep is not surrender. It is return. A return to the most natural thing. Rest. Far above, the moon begins to lower over the sea. You cannot see it from here, but somehow you know. The surface world is turning slowly toward morning. And still there is time. Time enough to rest. Time enough to drift deeper. Time enough to let the ocean finish what it started. The water around you feels softer now, almost warm with quiet. The creatures appear less often, not because life has disappeared, because your mind no longer needs constant images. Stillness itself has become enough. That is when true sleep comes close, not when the mind is entertained into silence, when silence itself becomes beautiful. And here in the deep sea, silence is beautiful. It glows, it breathes, it moves through jellyfish and whale song and the soft turning of unseen currents. It becomes a place, a home beneath thought. You settle there. No fear, no urgency, only the slow understanding that you do not need to hold yourself together tonight. The ocean can hold you. The dark can hold you. Rest can hold you. The creatures of eternal darkness have trusted that for millions of years. Perhaps you can trust it for one night. Just one night. Let sleep arrive like tide. Let peace arrive like blue light. Let the deep sea keep watch while you drift. Nothing more is needed. Nothing more is required. Only this, only breath, only quiet, only the beautiful dark where everything finally becomes still. Stillness deepens, not because the ocean changes, but because you do. At first, you entered this darkness as a visitor, curious, awake, watching. Now the deep feels less like a place you are exploring and more like a place that has quietly accepted you. The water no longer feels separate from your body. It feels like an extension of breath, a slow blue silence moving in and out without effort. Nothing pulls, nothing demands. The world above has faded into something almost imaginary. Morning meetings, bright screens, conversations replayed at midnight. All of it feels distant now, like remembering a dream after waking. The deep sea has a way of making human urgency feel very small. Not unimportant, just temporary. Everything above the surface moves quickly because it is afraid of stillness. But here, stillness is not feared. It is trusted. It is home. A nautilus appears, drifting slowly through the dark. Its shell spirals perfectly, unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. Ancient geometry, a design so complete it never needed improvement. There is peace in things that do not rush to become something else. The nautilus does not chase the future. It carries its home with it, room by room, chamber by chamber, growing only when necessary, leaving behind spaces it no longer needs. There is wisdom there. How much of life is learning which rooms to leave behind? Old grief, old versions of yourself, expectations that no longer fit. You do not have to live in every chamber forever. Sometimes peace is simply closing the door gently and continuing forward. The nautilus disappears into shadow, carrying that lesson with it. You keep drifting. The ocean floor below is smooth again. Dark sediment stretching like quiet desert. A sea pen sways gently in the current, rooted in the sand like a flower made for night. So much of the deep sea feels like another planet. And yet, it also feels strangely familiar. Because silence is familiar. Darkness is familiar. Every person carries their own deep ocean inside them. Places no one else sees. Thoughts that drift without language. Memories buried so far down they no longer ask to be named. Perhaps that is why this world feels comforting. Because it reflects something already within. The creatures of darkness are not strangers. They are symbols. The anglerfish with its dangerous light. The jellyfish glowing softly without permission. The sleeper shark moving through centuries without hurry. The whale bones feeding life long after the heart has stopped. Each one says the same quiet thing. You can survive this. You can soften. You can let go. You can rest. A small ray settles onto the ocean floor, covering itself with sand until only its eyes remain visible. Even hiding can be peaceful when it is chosen. Not escape. Recovery. There is a difference. The world often confuses rest with weakness. But nothing in the deep sea apologizes for retreat. Creatures disappear when they need to. They become still. They wait. They protect their energy like something sacred. Because it is. Your peace is sacred too. Your quiet is sacred. Your sleep is not laziness. It is survival. It is repair. It is the body remembering how to trust the dark. A soft current passes. Tiny particles rise around you like dust in moonlight. Marine snow again. Always falling. Always feeding. The surface sends pieces of itself down here constantly. Fragments of distant storms. Fragments of forgotten summers. Pieces of life returning to the deep. Nothing truly stays above forever. Everything finds its way back to stillness. That thought feels less sad now, almost comforting, because stillness is not emptiness. It is belonging. To rest is to belong. To stop resisting is to belong. To close your eyes and trust the dark is to belong. Far away, another whale's song moves through the water. Lower this time. Slower, like the ocean itself humming in sleep. You let it pass through you. No need to understand it. Some things are better felt than translated. Some peace arrives without language. The deep sea speaks like that. In pressure, in silence, in creatures shaped like dreams. In the simple fact that life continues even where light does not. A ghost shark glides by, its pale body almost glowing against the black water. Its eyes reflective and calm. It looks like something from another world, but perhaps all creatures do when seen in the right darkness. Beauty is often just unfamiliarity softened by time. At first, the deep sea seemed strange. Now it feels honest. Perhaps people are the same. Perhaps what frightens us most at first becomes beautiful once we stop trying to turn away. The ghost shark vanishes. The silence remains. And the silence is enough. You notice now how slow your breathing has become. How light your thoughts feel. How distant urgency seems. Sleep is no longer something ahead. It is already here. Not fully, but close enough to touch. Like the edge of warm water at night. Like the moment before rain begins. Like the final page of a book you are not rushing to finish. The deep sea has guided you here without asking for effort. Only attention. Only surrender. Only the willingness to stay long enough for darkness to stop feeling like darkness and begin feeling like peace. That is the secret of the creatures below. They do not conquer the dark. They trusted. They let it hold them. They let it become part of their shape. Maybe rest asks the same. Not control. Trust. Not fighting sleep. Allowing it. A final school of silver fish moves above like a passing thought. Quick, bright, gone, and then only stillness again. You realize there is nothing left to do tonight. Nothing urgent enough to follow you here. No unfinished sentence worth carrying deeper. No fear that needs solving before morning. Only this. Only the deep. Only the soft black water and the creatures sleeping inside it. Only the strange, beautiful truth that darkness can be gentle. The ocean keeps repeating it until you believe it. Darkness can be gentle. Silence can be safe. Rest can be trusted. And you can let go. Completely. Not forever. Just for tonight. Tonight, let the anglerfish keep its lonely lantern. Let the jellyfish carry its moonlight. Let the whales sing to each other across impossible distances. Let the sleeper shark continue its ancient slow journey. Let the sea cucumber bury itself in peace. Let the ocean hold all of it. And let it hold you too. No struggle. No performance. No need to stay awake for a world that will still be there tomorrow. Tonight belongs to the deep sea. Tonight belongs to blue light and patient creatures and the endless calm beneath the waves. Tonight belongs to sleep. And so you drift. Slower, softer, deeper, until even the thought of drifting disappears. until there is only rest, only quiet, only the endless peaceful dark where every creature of the deep returns. And there at last you rest with them. There is nothing left to follow, no paths, no destination, only the quiet continuation of dark water stretching endlessly around you, soft and still like a night that never asks to end. The deep sea no longer feels like a place beneath the world. It feels like the center of it, a hidden heart beating slowly beneath everything. Ancient, patient, unmoved by hurry. Above, storms may cross oceans. Cities may stay awake beneath electric light. People may fill the silence because they are afraid of hearing themselves. But here, none of that matters. The deep remains. It always remains. That permanence is comforting, not because it promises forever, because it asks nothing. The ocean does not need you to explain your tiredness. It does not ask why your mind stayed awake too long. It does not ask why some nights feel heavier than others. It simply opens. It makes room. And sometimes that is enough. A blanket octopus moves past, its delicate body trailing like silk in the water. Soft, strange, beautiful in a way that would seem impossible on land. Its movement is slow enough to feel like music. Nothing sharp, nothing forced, only the quiet grace of a creature that belongs exactly where it is. There is peace in belonging, not searching, not proving, just existing fully in the place made for you. Perhaps that is what sleep really is. A return to belonging, a return to the body, a return to the simple trust that rest is natural, that you do not have to earn it, that even tiredness is not failure. It is only the body asking to come home. The octopus disappears. The water closes gently behind it. No evidence, only memory. The deep sea is full of things that leave no trace. And still they matter. That feels important. Not everything valuable must be visible. Not every healing must be announced. Quiet things can change a life. A night of true rest. A conversation that arrives at the right time. A single breath taken slowly enough to remind you that you are still here. The deep creatures understand the power of small things. A tiny light, a hidden shelter, a patient wait. Enough, always enough. You drift past a canyon cut into the seafloor, its walls rising like silent cliffs. Strange white creatures cling to the stone. Sea spiders, soft corals, things with no names most people would recognize. They live entire lives in darkness and leave no monument behind. And yet they are complete. The surface world worships legacy. The deep sea worships balance. One is loud, the other lasts. There is freedom in not needing to be remembered by everyone. Sometimes it is enough to simply be known by your own quiet heart. Enough to rest well. Enough to be kind. Enough to leave gentleness where you pass. The ocean would understand that kind of legacy. A low current carries colder water around you. It feels like a hand on the forehead of a restless mind. Cooling, calming, permission. You notice how easily breathing happens now. No effort, no instruction, just rhythm. The body knows what to do when the mind stops interrupting. Sleep is like that. So much of it is trust. Trusting the body to remember what the mind keeps trying to control. Trusting the night to hold you without explanation. trusting that rest can arrive even after difficult days. Especially after difficult days. A Portuguese man wore drifts above, glowing faintly, beautiful and dangerous. Even here, beauty carries complexity. That too feels true. Not everything peaceful is simple. Not everything beautiful is safe. But still, beauty matters. The ocean does not avoid contradiction. It lets danger and wonder float side by side. Perhaps healing works the same way. Peace does not require life to become perfect. Only quieter, only honest, only slow enough for the truth to breathe. You pass beneath it carefully, respectfully, and continue deeper. The darkness changes again. Less like black water now, more like velvet. Soft, endless, protective. You remember being a child, closing your eyes beneath blankets and feeling the world disappear for a while. The deep sea feels like that. A giant hidden blanket stretched beneath the planet. A place where the nervous system remembers safety. Where the heart remembers slower rhythms. Where sleep does not feel like surrender. It feels like being carried. Somewhere ahead, a jellyfish pulses once, then fades. Its light is so brief, it almost feels imagined. But that is enough. Even brief light matters. Especially in darkness. Especially when the darkness is long. Perhaps that is why small kindnesses stay with us. A message. A hand on the shoulder. Someone saying rest. Someone saying you do not have to do everything tonight. The deep sea says that too. In its own language. It says rest. It says enough. It says the world can continue while you sleep. You do not have to hold it all. The anglerfish is still somewhere below, waiting with its lonely lantern. The sleeper shark is still moving through centuries. The whale song still travels where eyes cannot follow. Nothing has stopped. Nothing needs your constant attention. Life continues, quietly, faithfully, without asking you to stay awake and witness every second. That realization is one of the deepest forms of peace. You are allowed to step away. You are allowed to sleep. You are allowed to trust tomorrow with itself. The ocean does. Every night, every tide, every creature that closes its strange eyes in the dark and lets stillness take over. A hermit crab carries its borrowed home across the floor of the sea. Slowly, carefully, another lesson. You do not always need to build everything from the beginning. Sometimes survival means accepting shelter where it appears. Borrowing peace, borrowing patience, borrowing stillness from places wiser than yourself until it becomes your own. Perhaps tonight, the deep sea lends you that. Its patience, its silence, its refusal to rush, its faith in darkness. Take it. You do not need permission. Take the quiet. Take the slowness. Take the right to disappear for a few hours and return softer. The creatures below would never call that weakness. They would call it wisdom. The water grows heavier, not oppressive, comforting, like the final weight of sleep settling across the body. Thoughts no longer arrive in full sentences, only fragments, images, blue light, whale song, the slow turning of unseen currents, the pale shape of a shark vanishing into forever, the soft pulse of jellyfish like distant breathing. Everything becomes dreamlike. And that is good. You are close now. Closer than words. Closer than intention. The mind loosens its last grip. The world above disappears completely. Only the deep remains. Only the calm. Only the eternal dark, where strange, beautiful creatures sleep without fear. You are not separate from it anymore. You are part of the rhythm, part of the tide, part of the great quiet beneath the waves. Nothing to solve, nothing to protect, nothing to become. Only rest, only surrender, only the endless blue-black peace that has been waiting since before language, before memory, before fear. And in that peace, gently, completely, you let go. There is no falling now, only floating, no effort, no direction, just the quiet feeling of being held by something older than thought, older than language, older even than fear. The deep sea does not ask where you came from. It does not ask what kept you awake. It does not ask what tomorrow will require. It only offers stillness. And stillness, when it is deep enough, becomes kindness. Around you, the darkness feels alive, but not crowded. A living silence. A world breathing slowly in places where the sun has never reached. This is where the strange creatures sleep. Where glowing bodies drift like forgotten stars. Where ancient sharks move without urgency. Where even the bones of giants become shelter for smaller lives. Nothing is wasted here. Not energy. Not endings. Not even silence. Everything belongs to something. Even rest belongs here. You pass over the soft outline of a stingray sleeping beneath the sand. Only the shape remains visible, like a secret the ocean chose not to fully hide. There is something comforting in hidden things. Not everything needs to be exposed to be real. Some peace grows best in quiet places. Some healing happens when no one sees it. The deep sea respects privacy. It lets creatures disappear when they need to. It lets darkness protect instead of threaten. Maybe that is why sleep feels safer here. Because nothing is demanding proof of wakefulness. No one is asking for productivity. No one is measuring your worth by how long you stayed standing. Here, rest is not earned. It is expected, natural, necessary. A transparent shrimp glides through a cloud of drifting particles, almost invisible except for the way light bends around it. So much of the deep sea survives by becoming gentle enough not to disturb the water. Gentle enough to belong without force. There is wisdom there too. Not every problem needs strength. Some things ask for softness. Some nights ask for surrender. Some hearts heal better when they stop fighting the dark and let it become quiet around them. The shrimp vanishes. The water remains. Always the water. Always the calm. You begin to notice how even memory feels softer here. Names blur. Old worries lose their sharp edges. Conversations that once replayed endlessly now drift apart like schools of fish scattering into open water. Nothing is being erased, only released. The ocean is not taking things from you. It is reminding you that you do not need to carry them all at once. You were never meant to. Far away, a ribbon eel moves through coral ruins left by time and pressure. Its body bends like handwriting written slowly across the dark. There are no ruins without beauty in the deep sea. Even broken things become part of the design. Even what collapsed becomes shelter. The ocean does not separate beauty from damage. It lets them live together. That matters, because so much of healing begins when we stop believing brokenness disqualifies beauty. The whale skeleton was beautiful. The shipwreck was peaceful. The old coral forest grew stronger around absence. Perhaps people are like that too. Perhaps the places that feel ruined become the places where new life quietly begins. The deep sea seems certain of it. Nothing ends here without becoming useful to something else. Nothing disappears without feeding another beginning. That thought settles into you like warm water. Gentle, steady, true. A moon snail traces a slow path across the ocean floor. So slow it would be easy to miss. But not here. Nothing small is ignored in the deep. Everything matters because everything participates. That is another kind of peace. To know you do not have to be extraordinary to belong. To know quiet existence is enough. To know simply continuing is sometimes the bravest thing a body can do. The moon snail continues. Patient, unconcerned with speed. It will arrive eventually. That is enough. The ocean loves eventually. Not now, not immediately. Eventually. Healing eventually. Rest eventually. Sleep eventually. Trusting that can be hard above the surface, where everything demands immediacy. But below, time moves differently. Below eventually is sacred. Eventually means life is still unfolding. Eventually means the current is still carrying you somewhere softer. Eventually means tonight does not have to solve everything. Only this moment. Only this breath. Only this drift into quiet. The water darkens further, though it hardly seems possible. And yet, instead of fear, there is warmth. A sense of being covered. Protected. Like the deepest part of night, just before real sleep arrives. The body recognizes it before the mind does. The slowing. The surrender. The soft distance from language. This is where dreams begin. Not in sudden images. In release. In the body deciding it no longer needs to guard the door. A comb jelly moves past, its body carrying lines of rainbow light that should not exist in darkness, yet do. The deep sea is full of impossible things that simply continue existing without explanation. Maybe peace is like that too. Not always logical. Not always earned. Sometimes it simply arrives because the body is finally ready to receive it. You do not question the comb jelly. You let it pass. You let beauty remain mysterious. That is part of rest. Not needing every answer. Not demanding certainty from every shadow. Some things can stay soft, unsolved, beautiful because they remain partially unknown. The deep creatures understand that. They do not explain themselves. They glow, they drift, they disappear, and somehow that is enough. Ahead, the ocean opens once more into pure black distance. No creatures, no coral, no wrecks, just depth, endless and calm. At first, it seems like emptiness. Then you realize it is space. Room. The kind of room the mind has been asking for all along. Space to stop performing. Space to stop holding every unfinished thing. Space to simply rest without apology. That is what sleep is. Space. A private ocean beneath consciousness where the world cannot follow for a while. And here, in the deepest sea, you have already arrived there. The creatures know it. The currents know it. The darkness knows it. Only the mind takes longer to trust. But now, even the mind is quiet. Even the last small voice asking what comes next has softened. Nothing comes next. Only deeper rest. Only softer dark. Only the final kindness of letting yourself disappear for a while into peace. Far above, morning is preparing itself. Birds will wake. Coffee will be poured. Screens will glow again. The surface world will continue its bright, loud insistence. But not yet. Not for you. For now, there is only this. Only the deep. Only the creatures sleeping without fear in eternal darkness. Only the endless calm that asks nothing and gives everything. Only the simple truth that you are allowed to stop. Allowed to drift. Allowed to sleep. And so, with the ocean holding the last weight from your shoulders, with blue light fading softly into black water, with whale song somewhere beyond hearing and the slow breathing of the sea around you, you finally do. You rest. Completely. Quietly. Like every creature below. Like the ocean itself. At peace. The peace remains. Even after the words become softer, even after thought begins to loosen and drift, the deep ocean stays exactly as it is. Still, patient, unmoved. It does not need your attention to continue. That is part of its kindness. It holds the world without asking to be watched. It simply exists. And somewhere within that endless blue-black silence, sleep settles more deeply. Not like something arriving from outside. Like something remembered. As though your body always knew this place. As though part of you has been here before, in the quiet below noise, in the dark beneath thought, in the soft space where nothing needs to be solved. Perhaps that is why the ocean feels familiar. Because rest itself is ancient. Older than language. Older than worry. Older than the habit of staying awake too long. The deep sea remembers that. Its creatures remember that. They do not argue with night. They enter it. A stonefish rests so perfectly still against the seafloor, it almost disappears. Camouflage not as deception, but as peace. Blending instead of resisting. There are nights when that is enough. Not fixing, not fighting, just becoming quiet enough that the world no longer scrapes against you. Sometimes healing begins in invisibility, in private hours, in choosing stillness over explanation. The deep sea understands private healing. It protects it. Nothing here blooms for applause. Nothing glows to be admired. Light exists because it must. Life continues because it can. There is something honest in that. Something restful. A small octopus curls tighter inside a hollow shell. Its home temporary. Its rest complete. Safety does not always require permanence. Sometimes it only requires one soft place to stop. 1 hour. One breath. One quiet corner where the body can unclench. Tonight can be that place. This moment can be that place. You do not need to solve your whole life before sleeping. You only need enough peace for now. Enough quiet for tonight. Enough trust to close your eyes. The ocean asks for no more than that. A school of silver fish turns at once, catching a faint invisible light and becoming, for a second, a moving mirror. Then darkness again. That brief brightness feels important. Not because it lasted, because it happened. Some beautiful things are not meant to stay, only to remind you that beauty exists. A calm conversation, a kind stranger, a good night's sleep after a difficult week. Temporary does not mean meaningless. The deep sea is built on passing moments. Flashes of blue, a whale's song crossing miles, a jellyfish appearing and vanishing like breath on glass. Nothing held forever, everything enough. You drift farther, or perhaps you have stopped moving altogether. It no longer matters. Direction belongs to waking life. Sleep asks only surrender. A feather star clings to rock like something made from moonlight and patience. Its arms open slowly to the current, gathering what the water brings. There is trust in that posture. Receiving instead of chasing. Allowing instead of forcing. Maybe peace arrives the same way. Not by hunting it, by becoming still enough to notice it was already here. The deep sea is full of receiving. Currents, light, silence, time. Nothing hurries to possess. Everything participates. It is a softer way to exist. A wiser one. Far above, clouds pass over the moon. The tides shift without asking permission. The world continues its great turning. And here below, you are no longer trying to keep up. That is freedom, not escape. Release. The understanding that not everything belongs in your hands tonight. Some things belong to tomorrow. Some things belong to time. Some things belong to the ocean. Let them go there. Let the sea keep them until morning. It is strong enough. It has carried storms larger than your thoughts. It has held ships, whales, cities, and centuries. It can hold one tired mind for a night. A crab walks sideways across the sand, carrying nothing but itself. Simple. Enough. There is a deep comfort in simplicity, in realizing that peace is often ordinary. Water, darkness, breath, rest. Nothing expensive. Nothing complicated. The body has always known how to sleep. It is the mind that forgets. The deep sea reminds it. Again and again. Nothing more is required. Only stillness. Only trust. Only the willingness to stop trying for a little while. You feel that now. The edge where wakefulness softens. The place where thoughts stop finishing themselves. Where language becomes less important than feeling. Blue light. Warm dark. Slow water. The rhythm of something vast and kind moving around you. This is enough. A final anglerfish glows somewhere below. Its small lantern alone in impossible darkness. No longer frightening. Almost comforting. A reminder that even in the deepest places, there is light. Not bright. Not loud. Enough. Always enough. Perhaps that is the deepest lesson of all. You do not need endless certainty. Only enough. Enough peace for tonight. Enough softness to let go. Enough faith in darkness to believe it can hold you gently. The anglerfish waits. The sleeper shark continues its ancient path. The whales sing where no one can see them. The jellyfish pulse like slow stars. Nothing asks to be different. Nothing asks to be more. The ocean accepts what is. And because of that, it becomes peaceful. Maybe acceptance is the final door to sleep. Not fixing the day. Not rewriting the past. Only saying yes. Yes, I am tired. Yes, I need rest. Yes, this moment is enough. Yes, I can let go now. The deep sea opens around that yes, like a vast, quiet room. No walls. No ceiling. Only softness. Only dark. Only the endless patient water where every creature eventually returns to stillness. And there, with nothing left to prove, nothing left to carry, nothing left to postpone, you let yourself become part of that stillness. Not lost. Held. Not gone. Resting. The way the ocean rests. The way the moon rests in reflection. The way ancient creatures sleep in places no sunlight can disturb. Completely, safely, at home in the dark. At home in the dark, everything becomes simpler. The need to explain fades first. Then the need to remember every unfinished thing. Then the quiet pressure to stay alert, to stay prepared, to keep one eye open for tomorrow. The deep sea asks for none of that. It offers something gentler. Permission. Permission to stop. Permission to trust that the world will keep turning without your hands holding it tonight. That permission is rare above the surface. Life there often feels like constant motion, constant proving, constant noise dressed up as necessity. But here, beneath miles of water and silence, nothing performs. Nothing pretends urgency. The creatures of the dark sea survive by conserving energy, not by spending it. They know what matters. Rest matters. Stillness matters. Enough matters. A sea turtle passes slowly through the black water, older than memory, calm as if it has never once doubted the ocean. Its movement is unhurried, but never late. There is a difference. Slowness is not delay. Slowness is rhythm. The turtle knows where it is going without rushing to arrive. There is wisdom in that. How often do people mistake panic for progress? How often do we run simply because standing still feels unfamiliar? The ocean teaches another way. Move when needed. Rest when needed. Trust both. The turtle disappears into the distance like a thought finally released. You let it go. You let many things go. The list you carried all day. The conversation you wish had gone differently. The question that keeps returning after midnight. The fear that tomorrow will ask too much. Let them sink. Let them become part of the deep where unfinished things are allowed to rest. The ocean is full of unfinished things. Lost ships, whale bones, forgotten storms. Yet nothing here feels broken, only transformed, only continuing in another shape. There is peace in knowing you do not have to complete every chapter tonight. Some things need darkness before they make sense. Some answers arrive only after sleep. A small squid flashes once and vanishes. Light then shadow. That is often how clarity works. A brief moment. A small understanding. Enough to keep going. Not the whole map. Just enough light for the next breath. The deep sea trusts small light. The anglerfish survives with one lantern. The lanternfish crosses the ocean with tiny stars along its body. The jellyfish glows softly without asking permission from the dark. Enough light, enough peace, enough night. You do not need more than that right now. You pass over a field of soft white anemones, opening slowly to the current like flowers that learned how to bloom without sunlight. Beauty changes in darkness. It becomes quieter, less about being seen, more about being true. There are people like that too. Quiet people. People who do not shine loudly but steadily. People whose kindness is felt more than noticed. People who survive by becoming gentle instead of hard. The deep sea is full of gentle survivors. And maybe that is why it feels like home. Because underneath everything, most hearts are simply trying to survive without losing softness. A starfish rests on volcanic stone, perfectly still. No ambition, no hurry, just existence. Sometimes peace looks like that. Not excitement, not achievement, just enough safety to be still. Enough trust to stop moving for a while. Stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness without noise. The ocean understands fullness without noise better than any place on earth. Even silence here feels alive. A living silence. A silence with breath inside it. You feel it around you now. And within you. The space between thoughts growing wider. The pauses becoming more comfortable. The mind no longer trying to fill every quiet with worry. That is where sleep enters. Not through exhaustion. Through trust. Trust that silence is safe. Trust that darkness is not abandonment. Trust that letting go is not weakness. The creatures below live by that trust. The sleeper shark does not fear the dark. The octopus does not apologize for hiding. The whale does not explain its long, slow song. Everything belongs to itself. Everything belongs to the ocean. You can belong here too. Just for tonight. A ribbon of bioluminescent plankton swirls past like blue fire written by the current. Tiny lives making beauty simply by existing. No audience. No reward. Only light because light is what they carry. There is something healing in that. To stop asking whether your peace is productive. To stop asking whether rest must be justified. To stop measuring worth by exhaustion. The deep sea would laugh at that if it laughed at all. Nothing here proves itself by suffering. Survival is quiet. Wisdom is quiet. Sleep is quiet. A distant submarine wreck lies half buried in sediment, its edges softened by years of patient water. Even machines learn how to become still. Even steel eventually accepts silence. There is no shame in becoming softer. No shame in slowing down. No shame in needing rest. Only a culture too far from the ocean would call that weakness. Nature never does. The sea never does. The night never does. Night says, come closer. Put it down. You can carry it tomorrow if it still matters. Often it won't. Often the mind makes mountains out of things that look much smaller in morning light. Sleep changes scale. It returns proportion. The deep sea understands proportion. It knows how small a single worry is compared to the age of water. Compared to a shark that has crossed centuries. Compared to trenches older than history. Your pain is real, but it does not have to be endless. Tonight it can rest. That is enough. You drift lower. Not physically now, but inward. Toward the place beneath language. The place where the body speaks in slower truths. Heavy eyes. Soft shoulders. Breath like tide. That place. The true beginning of sleep. No thoughts there. Only sensation. Only warmth. Only the gentle certainty that you are allowed to stop. The ocean keeps repeating it. You are allowed to stop. The jellyfish knows it. The turtle knows it. The whale knows it. Even the smallest shrimp hiding in coral knows it. Rest is not failure. It is part of life. Sacred. Necessary. Ancient. You do not need permission because you were built for it. Built for cycles. Built for waking and sleeping, effort and recovery, light and dark. The deep sea simply reminds you of what was always true. Nothing more. Nothing less. Ahead, the darkness becomes softer still, almost blue again, not from sunlight, but from the mind moving closer to dream. Shapes blur. Creatures become symbols. Symbols become feeling. Feeling becomes sleep. There is no need to resist. No need to stay on the surface of thought. Let yourself sink. Let the water hold the sharp edges until they dissolve. Let the night become gentle around you. Let the creatures of eternal darkness keep watch while you disappear into the quiet. They have done it for millions of years. They know how. Trust them. Trust the ocean. Trust your own body. And with that trust, the final waking thoughts drift away like silver fish into black water, gone before you can name them. Only stillness remains. Only peace. Only the endless calm below the world, where everything finally slows enough to rest. Below the world, where everything slows enough to rest, there is no need to hold on. The ocean does not cling. It moves. It releases. It allows. Currents carry what must go. Tides return what belongs. Nothing stays fixed forever, and because of that, nothing has to be forced. There is deep comfort in that truth. You do not have to force sleep. You do not have to force peace. Sometimes the softest things arrive only when you stop chasing them. The creatures below understand this without words. A seahorse wraps its tail around drifting coral, holding gently, never too tightly. It knows the difference between support and struggle, between staying and clinging. There are lessons even there. Some things are held best with softness. Some relationships, some memories, even your own tired mind. Not everything responds to pressure. Some things respond to patience. The ocean is patient with everything. With storms, with wreckage, with creatures learning how to survive in darkness. Be patient with yourself tonight. You are allowed to arrive slowly. You are allowed to rest imperfectly. You are allowed to take the long way back to peace. A sea spider crosses the seafloor like a thought moving carefully through silence. Thin legs, slow purpose, nothing dramatic, and still it belongs. There is beauty in small, quiet belonging. The kind that never trends. The kind that never announces itself. A good home. A calm evening. A body finally relaxing after carrying too much. The deep sea values those things. It has no use for performance. Only truth. Only function. Only rhythm. Far away, a soft glow appears near the rocks. A colony of tiny shrimp gathering around warmth from a vent hidden in darkness. Even in the deepest cold, life moves toward warmth. That instinct is ancient, older than language, older than fear. You have it too. The pull toward soft places, toward voices that calm instead of sharpen, toward rooms where your nervous system can exhale, toward sleep, especially toward sleep. Rest is warmth, not always in temperature, in feeling, the feeling of being safe enough to let your guard down. The deep ocean, strangely, offers that, because nothing here asks you to perform being okay. It only asks you to be. And being is enough. A longfin eel slips between stones, disappearing and returning like memory. Some thoughts are like that. They visit at night. They rise when everything else gets quiet. Not because they want to hurt you, because silence finally gave them room. Do not fight every thought tonight. Some thoughts only need to pass through, like fish through current. Notice, release, let them continue. The ocean never grabs every passing shape. It lets movement remain movement. Let your mind learn from that. Not every memory needs a trial. Not every fear needs an answer at midnight. Some things can wait for morning. Some things disappear if you stop feeding them attention. A sea cucumber moves slowly across the floor, simple and strange, and entirely unconcerned with being understood. There is freedom in that. To exist without explanation. To stop translating yourself for everyone. To trust that your worth is not dependent on how well others understand your shape. The deep creatures do not explain themselves. They live. They glow. They sleep. Enough. Always enough. You feel your own edges softening now. The clear outline of self becoming gentler. Not disappearing. Relaxing. Like muscles finally unclenching after holding tension for too long. The body knows. It always knows when it is finally safe. Sometimes the mind arrives later. That is okay. Let the body lead tonight. Let breath lead. Inhale, slow as tide reaching shore. Exhale, long enough for the chest to remember softness. Again, again, nothing else is needed. No strategy, no perfect sleep method. Only rhythm, only repetition, only the ancient intelligence of breath. Above, the moon crosses quietly over open water. Its reflection broken by waves no one sees. Even beauty does not need witnesses. Remember that. Some of your most important healing will happen in private. Unseen, uncelebrated, still real, still sacred. The deep sea is built on unseen things. Invisible migrations. Creatures living entire lives in darkness. Whales singing where no one listens. And yet the ocean would be incomplete without them. Do not underestimate the invisible parts of your own life. The nights you chose rest. The moments you did not react. The mornings you kept going quietly. The softness no one applauded. That matters. It all matters. A feather worm opens like a flower from stone, delicate and certain. Then closes again when the current shifts. Open, close, trust, protection. There is wisdom in knowing when to open and when to retreat. Not everyone learns that easily. The deep sea learns it by necessity. You can learn it by gentleness. Rest is sometimes retreat. Not from life. Toward yourself. Toward the quieter room inside, where the world cannot constantly reach you. Tonight, go there. Stay there. You do not owe constant access to your energy. Even the ocean has depths the surface cannot touch. You are allowed to have depths too. A manta ray passes again, vast and slow, like the shadow of peace itself. Its wings move with such calm authority that it seems less like swimming and more like accepting gravity in another form. That is what sleep begins to feel like now. Not falling, accepting, letting gravity do what it was always meant to do. Letting the body be heavy, letting the eyes close, letting the mind stop standing guard. The deep creatures are not afraid of heaviness. The ocean taught them weight is not the enemy. Resistance is. Float, sink, rest, all are forms of trust. And trust is the final bridge. You are crossing it now. Slowly, quietly, without needing to announce it. A final school of bioluminescent fish moves like blue sparks through black water, then disappears into the endless dark. The light leaves. The peace remains. That is important. Even when bright moments pass, peace can stay. Even when the visible comfort leaves, the deeper calm remains underneath. The ocean proves that every night, darkness is not the absence of life. It is where life learns another language. And sleep is like that. not absence. Another language. The body speaking without words. The heart resting without permission. The mind stepping aside so something older can take over. You are there now, at the edge where language stops mattering, where thoughts become images. Blue water, slow whales, ancient sharks, soft glowing creatures moving through endless quiet. And somewhere among them, your own tired spirit finally choosing stillness over struggle, choosing softness over control, choosing rest. The ocean receives that choice without surprise, as if it knew you would arrive eventually, as if it had been waiting all along. Maybe it was. Maybe every quiet place in the world waits for us like that. Patient, open, ready. And now, with nothing left to carry and nowhere left to rush, you let yourself be carried instead. By water, by darkness, by breath, by sleep, deeper, softer, until even the idea of deeper disappears, and only peace remains. The peace remains. It does not need to be held. It does not need to be protected. It simply stays like the ocean itself, vast and patient and older than every restless thought that once kept you awake. There is no final destination here. No dramatic ending. Only quiet. Only the soft understanding that nothing else is required tonight. The creatures of the dark sea continue their slow lives around you. The anglerfish waits with its lonely light. The jellyfish pulse like distant stars. The sleeper shark moves through centuries without hurry. The whales sing to one another across impossible distances. Everything continues. Everything rests. And somehow, both are true at once. That is the wisdom of the deep. Rest is not stopping life. It is part of life. Stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness without noise. Darkness is not absence. It is a place where gentleness can finally be felt. You understand that now. Not with words, with the body, with the slowing breath, with the softness in your chest where tension used to live. The ocean did not solve your life. It did something quieter. It reminded you that you do not have to solve everything before you sleep. You only have to rest. You only have to trust that morning can wait. Tomorrow can wait. The unfinished things can wait. Tonight belongs to peace. Tonight belongs to the deep. The water around you feels almost like memory now. Familiar, safe, as though some part of you has always known this place. The place beneath noise. The place beneath fear. The place where the mind finally becomes still enough to hear nothing at all and discovers that nothing can be beautiful. There is no resistance left. Only breath. Only the slow rise and fall like tide against a quiet shore. Inhale. Exhale. And the pause between where the whole world seems to rest with you. That pause is enough. This moment is enough. You are enough. Even here. Especially here. No performance. No proving. No need to stay awake for a world that will continue perfectly well until morning. The deep sea asks only one thing. Surrender. Not defeat. Trust. The kind of trust that lets the body become heavy. The kind of trust that lets the mind stop guarding every door. The kind of trust that lets darkness feel like home. And so you let go. Completely. Gently. Without fear. The last thoughts drift away like silver fish disappearing into black water. Gone before they need names. The last tension leaves your shoulders like a tide going out. The last small voice asking what comes next grows quiet. Nothing comes next. Only sleep. Only the endless peaceful dark where every strange, beautiful creature of the ocean returns to rest. And there, beneath the surface, beneath the noise, beneath the long, bright demands of the world above, you rest with them. Not lost, not alone, held, safe, part of something ancient and calm and endlessly forgiving. The ocean keeps watch. The moon moves above unseen. The creatures drift in their silent blue world. And you finally drift too. Deeper, softer, farther from worry, closer to stillness, until even the feeling of drifting disappears. Until there is only quiet, only peace, only sleep.